Hi, welcome back to the channel. This is the West Side Story. I'm your host, John Casey. Thank you for tuning in. If you like what you see, please click the like button. Subscriptions are always welcome, and comments are always welcome. So let's just jump into this week's report. Crime report really didn't show much of interest. Again, a few domestic violence issues and a lot of folks not showing up for their warrant hearings. That doesn't change much, unfortunately. Library continues to offer a wonderful array of programs that might interest all of us, especially people who are looking for the low-income rental assistance. They have a program on how to qualify for it. Very well prepared. Frankly, most of the programs are online. However, as of yesterday, both the Mission Library and the Northside Library are open on limited hours. They've been closed up till now, and it's a good thing. I personally believe a lot of the library is the fact of being there, my opinion. So they're both open. And I used to have a little section here called Fact Check. Today I'm going to go after two rumors that are very persistent in the city of Santa Clara. They're kind of the same thing, so I'm going to lump them together. There is a consistent rumor that Jeb York meets with the 5 members of the council who are supportive of his ideas on every Tuesday, and that he tells them that how they will vote. That's exactly how people are saying it. Personally, I think that's false, but we'll get to why in just a minute. The second one is that Jeb York paid each of those 5 people $1 million, that's $1 million, to run for office. And I have to label that one false also. And let me tell you why I do that. First of all, it was a guy back in the 50s. His name was Ralph M. Brown. He was a state assemblyman, and he wrote a law called the Ralph M. Brown Act of 1953, lest anyone be confused. And it was very clearly an attempt to kind of rein in some of the new agencies that were being formed in the state. In the 50s, things were growing really, really rapidly. New cities were being founded. Counties' boundaries were being changed. There were fire districts, there were water districts, there were hospital districts, there were library districts. And what Brown wanted was a consistent way to say, if they're spending your money or doing your business, you have a way to know about it. And today that kind of sounds like, come on, John, you're just talking about transparency. In 53, when he wrote the law, it caused much aggravation. Fortunately, most of it made it through intact. It can be a public official's best friend or worst enemy. So let's jump into that a little bit. And by the way, for those of you who want to look, the Brown Act's found at section 54950 of the California Elections Code. And if you violate the Brown Act, there's a whole bunch of things that can happen. One, if a complaint is filed with the California Political Practices Commission, and they get about $25,000 a year, they will investigate it. And if they decide we've investigated, there's nothing wrong, you get a letter from them that says that. If they investigate and decide there is something wrong, but it's just kind of minor, they'll send you a letter that says, fix this. The third thing they can do is issue a cease and desist order. This is a little more serious. They're saying, knock this off now. The commission has the authority to fine both individuals and agencies. So they have some chutzpah. And I think you ought to keep them in mind. Also, interestingly enough, under the law, an individual citizen can file a lawsuit against an agency or an individual for failure to comply with the Brown Act. Same thing applies to Form 700, but we'll get to that in a minute. So if there are 5 people discussing city business, even if there isn't a president of a large company there, it's a violation of the Brown Act. And to be really honest, the reason I labeled it as false is I've met each of those 5 people and know 2 of them personally. I seriously doubt that any of them would be that stupid. So I'm laying that one as a no. The other claim about paying the $1 million, I think I have to say no also. The requirement in the state of California is that everybody who is appointed or elected to a public office has to fill out a form once a year called the Form 700. It's called the Statement of Economic Interest. It's a lovely form. Because I have so little, I get to do the short form. But it requires that people actually list where they're getting their money and what they did to good. Not extensive, but you have to kind of say how it happened. If you have loans, you have to tell them about that too, and you have to talk about any interest you have in agencies that could, or companies that might remotely do business with the city. It's a good form. And the state, the Political Fair Practices Commission, actually keeps everybody's on file. So if you want to check out, did somebody make $1 million? You just go pull up their Political Fair Practice Commission Form 700 filings, and you can search to your heart's content. If you don't want to do all that work, let me tell you, I did it for you. None of those people reported a $1 million payment from Jeb York. As a matter of fact, none of them actually reported payments from Jeb York, which I tend to believe is the truth. I don't see how anyone would get into an elected position and then do something that could so easily be checked on. So, like I say, I have to lay both rumors out as just rumors and not factual at all. Moving on to something a little more comic, many of you have asked about what do I think about Will Smith slapping Chris Rock. I don't think violence is good anytime, so that wasn't really appropriate. But there was one other thing that kind of puzzled me about it. So we have somebody come up from the audience and smack a performer. Did you see any security? Any of the producers? Did you see anybody? I didn't. And people say, well, yeah, John, but Chris Rock got back up and made it play. Well, yeah, but I still think we would have seen somebody. So I'm a little concerned that maybe that was staged. Again, not enough information, but I think it was. So that's it for this week. Again, please like and subscribe, and feel free to tell your friends about it, and stay safe.